Lisa O'Sullivan is chairperson of Kilrush and District Historical Society. Lisa, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pat.
This all sounds wonderful and very, very promising. I think it was announced, was it in February, that the Clare County Council and yourselves at Kilrush and District Historical Society had secured the funding. I think it was the Minister Josepha Madigan who made the announcement. This is great news for Kilrush, isn't it?
Well, it is. You know, I think Kilrush is on a rising tide at the moment, and there are lots of lovely projects going on around the town, and the formation of the new Kilrush Town team and the Kilrush Sustainability Plan, with our kind of well-formed groups like Kilrush Tidy Towns, and ourselves then in the Historical Society. We're formed since 2012, and I think all the groups working together are really pushing Kilrush forward in the way it should be. One of the aspects then of Kilrush that's vitally important is our really rich heritage, the history of Kilrush with the Scattery Islands and our sad famine history, and the fact that Kilrush is a planned town. All those things kind of make a very unique historic package of the town.
There is a lot of history in Trish, no question about that, and it has been developing over the recent years. I was saying to Fiona a few moments ago, I have to admit to you now on the programme that I have never visited Vandeleur Gardens, but I believe a wonderful facility. I've seen videos and photographs, and this is an addition to that. Tell us exactly where the Terret Lodge is. Yeah,
it's within the original domain of the Vandeleur estate, so it's connected to the wall garden area by a laneway, and it connects very well. It was where the Vandeleurs used to leave their house and they used to go to the church. So the Terret Lodge is halfway between the former house and the church where the Vandeleur family attended. So they would have passed through. There's a gate. The Terret Lodge is a gate lodge, so there's an arched gate, and the family would have walked from the house down through there and into the church. So it's behind what's now the Chop Kiol.
So it has lain idle, presumably.
It was last inhabited in the mid-80s, and
that recent, very good.
Yes, but it's in an awful state of disrepair. So the elements are at it, the windows are gone. So it really, our major capital project up to now has been the renovation of the graveyard there around the Chop Kiol, which is a very internationally important historic graveyard with over 900 individual graves in it. And as we've been working there, we've digitised all the information on all those headstones, and we'd be looking over at the Terret Lodge saying, the state of that, it's in an awful state. So we thought, we would push forward and try to do something rather than just sitting back and bemoaning the fact that it looks awful. So we secured funding from Leader, for which we're very grateful, to conduct a feasibility study, and that was last year. And a group in Limerick called ACP undertook the study for us, and that feasibility study now is complete. And it was really on the back of that Clare County Council decided to, as they are the owners of the building, they decided to come on board, and took the initiative really, and asked us to help them to write the application for the Historic Towns Initiative grant, which was successful, which is really exciting. So that's where the project is at the moment. Hopefully that work will go on now to bring the building back to life again.
So the feasibility study was to ensure that it was structurally sound, that it could be developed, and you got that money, as you said,
from Leader, yeah.
Yes, and of course it's part funded by Clare County Council as well. So you have €240,000, I think, to play with.
Well, the Leader Fund was for the feasibility study.
Of course, yes.
And then the Clare County Council went on to apply for the Historic Towns Initiative grant, which we got 190,000 from them, and match funding. And then that's the money that will be used, please God, to bring the building back. And the first part of the feasibility study really was a conditions report to say what state the building was in, and what was needed to secure it, make it safe, so it wouldn't be a public hazard and start falling down on people. And so that's one of our things that we want to acknowledge tonight, is the great work of ACP in doing that report for us. And then our other project that we're doing at the moment is a World War I memorial, which is something really, the town needs. There were a lot of young men went to the war from Kilrush. There were 95 killed. So that's something too that we need to remember in the town, and another capital project. And that's why we decided to have an open night with, because usually our remit really falls to having lectures and outings and talks, but this is something bigger, something new. So that's why we decided an open night would showcase all of our work.
Brilliant. So all these projects, of course, helps Kilrush. It's an amazing town, the beautiful town, and what a wonderful location as well in the Shannon Estuary. In relation then to Terret Lodge, where to from now? What's next on the plan then, Lisa, after tonight? When does work physically begin on site, hopefully?
Well, I'm not certain of that now because it's Clare County Council who are driving that part of the work, because it was their application. But I know that tenders need to be sent out, obviously, these things take time. But I do know that the work, what work is being done needs to be complete by the middle of November. So definitely time is moving on, and this time next year we'll hopefully be looking at a building brought back to life again. And
what exactly will happen in the building then? What will it facilitate? Will it be accessible to the public?
Well, yeah, it'll be a Clare County Council building, so really it's up to them to decide ultimately. Our hope is that it would be a heritage and genealogy centre. But those kind of plans were really our focus at the moment, and our aspiration from the start was to bring the building back and have it, fresh again. Like the rest, that the Chockheol has been done up, which was the former Church of Ireland building, and the stables of the wall garden have been done up. So they're all brought to life. This fits in the middle of them, and was a terrible eyesore. And so baby steps. We'll bring it back to life first, and then we'll see how we can go on. But we do hope to we've a lot of archives and stuff in the Historical Society we'd like to find a home for.
You must be very proud and very happy that you've gotten this far, that you've found, first of all, from the ACP report, that the building can be reopened or can be refurbished or rebuilt. There must have been a great sense of pride in that. It would probably have been a great disappointment if there was nothing you could do with it.
Well, absolutely. And, we're delighted, really, because it was such an eyesore, sitting there. And it's in a very important spot in town. It's the oldest part of Kilrush. It's where it all started. The original Kilrush means the church in the wood, and the footprint of that original church is directly behind that building, between it and the Chockheol. So it's really the foundations of Kilrush is right there. The building itself was built in 1845. But it's in the oldest part of Kilrush, before it developed it all down towards the centre of where the town is now. So it's vitally important that we, wake that up and connect it to the rest of the town. And there are great plans for walks around the area, and it connects right onto where the park run in Kilrush is every Saturday morning. So really it's a really beautiful part of town, and would be a great asset to have that revived.
It's a great location as well, needless to say, and of course on the Wild Atlantic Way as you are, and you're on the route from the ferry up through Kilrush and up through west coast of Clare as well. Have you other projects in the pipeline? Presumably the Kilrush District Historical Society is busy all the time. When I think of the history associated with Kilrush, I think of Muhammad Ali and his grandfather leaving there way back in 1860 and going to the States, and the rest is history, I have to say. But there is so much history around that wonderful town.
Oh, there really is. I mean, one of the aspects is the island, of course. Scattery Island is an ancient history of Kilrush. And then there's the landlord history of Kilrush, and the fact that it was a planned town, which you can really see if you walk through, like our beautiful broad Francis Street looking down onto the marina. There's a lovely new West Coast Aqua Park that's just coming onto the marina, opening this weekend. And the Scattery Island Tourist Ferry are starting again this weekend, I believe. So it's all lovely summer stuff kicking off in Kilrush, and a lovely bright sunny day now today to look at it and look at its best. So it really is this massive, Kilrush is definitely someplace not to pass through.
And you also had the launch. Sorry, Lisa. You had the launch as well this week, or was it last week, of the book, The Glins of Kilrush.
That's right,
More
Paul
history.
O'Brien. Yes. He launched his book on Saturday night down in the former Glyn's Mills building. Very well attended, a really lovely event, and a lovely book, well worth a read. Lovely history of Kilrush in it, and the history, obviously, of the Glynn family, who were so important in the town, always, and still business people in the town. So, lots. And Paul will be at the our open night tonight, and we'll have copies of his book for sale and there for signing.
Very good. Just remind us when and where, what time and everything tonight for the event.
It's at 7:30 tonight in the Chairperson. So all are welcome. It's an open night, and there'll be just a little bit of talking and then a mingle and some finger food.
Very good.
And hopefully then, people can look at our projects, like the memorial, the plan for the World War I memorial will be there up on the wall, and people will have an opportunity. We'll have the names of all the Kilrush men who fought and fell, and an opportunity for people to help us out with the funding for that as well, because that's an expensive project. But we have received some funding from Clare Library and from Clare County Council, so we're on the road with that one as well.
So lots of great collaboration between yourselves in Kilrush,
all
the
the
Historical
groups
Society.
Working together, I think, is what really pushes the town forward.
And Clare County Council for their foresight as well.
Absolutely.
Lisa, have a wonderful evening. The very best of luck to you. I know we'll be talking, myself, yourself, or maybe Gavin and yourself will be talking in future about the developments of the Terret Lodge in Kilrush. But have a wonderful evening this evening. Thank you very much indeed.
Terrific.
That event is at. Thanks, Lisa. The event 7:30 this evening in the Chairperson in Kilrush. That was Lisa O'Sullivan, who's chairperson of Kilrush and District Historical Society.
Bringing you